Hi everyone, so you might remember a video that I did a year ago about A-levels and my sort of experience with 2 years of A-levels. Now, I've only just finished the first year of university, but I thought it would be really handy for some of you guys to know what my experience was like. I just thought I watched a lot of videos when I was looking at universities and applying and getting ready to move down to London, and it really helped me. This is just like a personal, from my perspective, opinion of my first year at university. The thing that I tell a lot of people, like family members and things, is that university was not what I imagined it would be. Not in a bad way, but it just wasn't what I imagined at all. I guess a huge part of it is growing up and learning how to live by yourself and how to take care of yourself. That sometimes takes over the partying aspect of it. I guess I'll talk about results and getting an offer from a university first, because my offer was very unexpected and very grateful for it, but it was very unexpected. So basically, this is just to put any of your guys' mind at rest, because I know I have a few followers and subscribers that are maybe doing their A-levels at the minute, or they're in school and they're starting to think about their futures. So basically, my entry requirements for my university were to get 2 B's and a C, disregarding the fact that they lost one of my exam papers and it never got marked. Yes, that actually happened. I ended up getting a B, a C and a D, but because I got a B in English language, which is what I wanted to study, and I got an A in the exam, I think that's why the university took me on, and also because one of my entry requirements was to produce a portfolio for creative writing, so that obviously helped me out a lot. I know that that might not be the case for some subjects and some universities. Some are very strict. Honestly, I think I just got lucky and I picked a course that wasn't very popular. There weren't a lot of people on it, and so they needed to fill the course. I guess that's just a little thing to put your guys' minds at ease, because I know a lot of friends that didn't meet the entry requirements and have still gotten a place in the university that was their first choice. So please don't get too worried about that. Obviously do work hard for your exams and try and do your best, but I wouldn't stress over that too much. So I think we'll jump straight to Freshers Week. So I remember the first day that my mum dropped me off, and when I was saying bye to them, I cried, mainly because I didn't think I could do my own food shop. Like, we went to do a food shop, my first ever shop, and I almost broke down crying in the middle of Morrison's. I had to compose myself, because I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this, and I just got it into my head that I couldn't do a simple food shop. And I don't know why that was what stressed me out more, not even living in London by myself, literally doing a food shop. Still a little update, I'm now buying broccoli and chicken nuggets by myself, stress-free now, so character development for you. But yeah, after the whole fiasco with doing a food shop and getting really upset and stuff, my mum left me at my halls, and I had my first ever night out in London as a fresher. So basically, on the first night, you might find that a lot of halls have house parties or flat parties, because it kind of just brings everyone together and you get to meet everyone in your halls and make friends. As I will mention later, and I found out, no one in my halls spoke to each other after this night, but there you go, apart from a few of your close friends, you know. So I was getting ready, and there was a girl that I met on Facebook. By the way, a good tip if you're going into university alone, because I moved down to London alone, didn't know anybody, definitely get on Facebook, join groups for your university, join groups for your halls. They will always have a group. Normally, if you get your hall offer, they will send you a link to a Facebook group that you can then join and be a part of, because it's a private group, and you can chat to people and make friends. And that's basically how I met the girls that I went out with on my first night. So I was getting ready and I needed to go and look for my friend. She told me she was at a flat party. I didn't know that it was her flat party in her flat. So I go out and I'm walking around the halls. I'm gonna go try and get in the lift, and a boy stops me in the stairwell, and he's like, hey, nice to meet you, who are you? And I'm like, hi, telling my name and stuff, and you know, just making friends. And he's like, where are you off to? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to the flat party, I just need to find my friend. He obviously thought that I meant the big flat party that this guy was holding, and he'd posted in all the groups being like, everyone come to this flat party. He thought I meant there. Fair assumption. And he grabs hold of my hand and takes me upstairs, and he's like, this is where the flat is. So we go up and I go in and oh my god, I can't describe to you a scene that's any more cliche than this was. This was a typical freshers scene. There was people doing drugs, obviously people drinking, and I guess I'd just never been put in that environment before because I was in a friendship group that was very anti-drugs, anti-smoking, you know. Yeah, so I kind of just walked in and was like, oh, this is a bit of a culture shock, wow. And looked for my friend. Turns out she wasn't there. I was in the wrong flat, surrounded by people that I really didn't want to be friends with, not gonna lie. Like, I'm not really into that whole drugs thing. Good for you if you are, but I'm just not. So I was like, I'm gonna leave and go find my friend. So anyway, I had a great first night out in Camden. It was great. And then the rest of Freshers Week, like, I went out nearly every night, but I think that was mainly because I made friends with someone who does party every night and continued to live the freshers life after Freshers Week, you know. And it was fun to know her for freshers because it meant that I could go out and have loads of fun nights out and meet loads of people and do loads of cool things and just have the full freshers experience. Like, it could very easily be very different. I know a few people that didn't go out at all during freshers. They just kind of used it to get settled into their halls, or they found people that weren't really into going out much, so they just like got to know each other in other ways, and that's completely fine. Like, sometimes I wish I'd done that instead of going out every night and then sleeping all day. Sometimes there's a pressure. You feel a certain obligation to go out and join people. I remember it got to like the second week of partying every night and I just had enough, and they were texting me like, do you want to go out? Do you want to go out? And I was like, oh no, I'm just gonna give it a miss tonight. I'm just gonna stay in and watch TV because like that's what I do all the time. I would get texts like, oh, you're so boring, and sometimes like it does get to you a little bit and you're like, I should be living the full university experience, I should be going out and enjoying this, and you know, they're right, they have a point, I am being boring. But then like, it's important to just take a step back and be like, what's best for your happiness at the minute? Is it going to be a good idea to go out and get drunk again and be cold and end up coming home at like 4 AM? Or is it best for you to just stay in bed, eat some food and watch some films? Like, luckily I'm a very headstrong person. If I don't want to do something, I'll just say no. I don't really give in to peer pressure that often, so I was just unashamedly lazy and unashamedly a granny for like the second week of freshers. So we'll move on to halls. I must stress that going to uni in London is probably very different to going to uni anywhere else in the UK. I have friends that know everybody in their halls, or know everybody at least on their floor or like within the vicinity of their flat, who speak to their flatmates all the time, like they're friends with them, they go out with them. And I watched a few videos on studying in London before I moved there, and what struck me is that everyone was kind of saying the same thing, that people don't really talk or communicate as much, like it's not very friendly and hands-on as some other halls might be. And yeah, I definitely get that. I did say hello to all of my flatmates. I'm pretty proud to say that I was the first person that every single one of my flatmates ever met. I would just like put my head out the door every time I heard someone new moving in and be like, oh hi, my name's Abbie, like blah blah blah. The really stupid thing is that I presented myself as someone who was quite confident and outgoing, and I wanted to speak to them all the time, and I was social. And in reality, it got to like the second week of knowing them and I was like terrified to be in the kitchen with them because I just didn't want to talk. I don't want to put anyone off like halls or anything, or you know, going in with strangers, because this is not always the case at all. I think mine was a very rare example. So I was basically friends with one of the girls, and we hung out all the time, and like she came and sat in my room and stuff, and we'd cook together, and like honestly without her I don't think I'd have survived that first year. And then the rest of my flatmates, if I saw them in passing in the halls, I would maybe say hi, but most of the time we wouldn't even speak. And it's crazy now to come home and think like I lived with these people for like 9 months and didn't speak to them, and I didn't even say bye to them. Like, they weren't even there when I left, and it was really weird. Like, it just felt like a really unofficial ending. So yeah, in no way am I saying that this is the same case for every halls. It definitely probably isn't. So definitely take that one with a pinch of salt, unless you're studying in London. I would say if you're studying in London, be prepared to either not get on with your flatmates or just not speak to them at all, because for some reason, like, I'm from the north and we're all meant to be really friendly here, and everyone says we're all really friendly. way. But for some reason, when you put me in London, I just develop the characteristics of a Londoner, and it's like when you put someone in London, they automatically know that you're not to socialise with people, and it's odd. It's really weird. So shall I actually talk about university now? But first of all, I didn't really know how the grading system worked. I had to have that explained to me by one of my lecturers. Basically, the way it goes is a first is the highest grade you can get, a 2-1 is the second highest, 2-2, and then a third. And then you have to get like 40% to pass. I have a tendency to be quite cocky when it comes to academic stuff, especially English, which is what I'm studying. I've always been good at English. I've never been worried about doing bad in English. For some reason, I was just too cocky this year and thought, I can do this. And I honestly thought that the work was really easy. The majority of it I'd already learned at A-level, and I knew that I did really well in A-level English language, so I was like, I should be fine. No. I haven't got my results back yet, but for the majority of my assignments I either got a 2-1 or a 2-2, and honestly at first I was a bit downhearted because I'm in that kind of friendship group where everyone's really smart and wonderful, but they get really good grades, and so you instantly compare your grade to theirs, and it's, oh, you know the type of friends, I love them and I'm so happy that they're succeeding, but like, damn, am I jealous. It's not even as if that's a bad grade, it's actually really good for your first year if you can get a 2-2, even better if you can get a 2-1, but it's just the fact that all of my friends were either getting higher percentages than me or they were getting firsts, and I was like, I want a first. Honestly, I've gotten to a point now where I'm just like, I'm getting into second year, probably. I still haven't got my exam results yet. If there's any advice I would give you, it's do the reading when you are told to do the reading. I would get weekly reading assignments. Like, it'll never be to read a full book in a week. It'll usually just, I mean, unless you're on a really intense course. But for English, primarily, it was mainly just read this chapter or this few chapters before next lecture. My contact hours at uni, and this is a whole other topic, but my contact hours were ridiculously low. I was hardly in uni, I hardly saw my lecturers, and I think that's really what harmed my work actually. But it's just all a learning process. It's all learning to be independent and doing your own work, and you're gonna have to get a lot more independent and a lot more organised, which is something that I struggled at. Start revising at least a month in advance. Like, start before then, but the thing that gets me about university is if you're on a course that's also kind of coursework based as well as an exam, you normally will find that you have a lot of deadlines coming up to exam time, and so it's really difficult to balance finishing those deadlines, working hard on those coursework assignments, and also starting to revise the material. I think if I could give you any tips, it would be make lots of flashcards, because they are quick and easy ways of revision. They stick in your mind. For me anyway, repetition is the key thing for learning, and also flashcards, like, it'll take a while for you to make them, but it's a very, very quick fire way of revising in between writing your assignments. So the next topic I think I'll talk about is making friends at university. I think because I was in a halls that was separate from my uni, I ended up making like 2 different friendship groups, as well as making friends from events that I went to, and that really helped. I was really terrified of making friends, and it's a cliche thing to say because everyone says the same thing, but everybody is in the same boat at university. Everybody wants to meet people, everybody wants to make friends, and so really, as long as you're willing to be open and socialise with people, they will be willing to socialise with you. So please don't worry too much about making friends, and I cannot stress enough how nice it is, especially when you move to an area that you don't know. You're hours away from home, you don't have family there, you don't have friends there. I can't stress enough how beneficial it is to have those little groups of friends. Even if you just have the one tiny tight-knit group, it gives you a sense of family, it gives you a sense of belonging. It tells it, you know that there's someone on the other end of the phone that you can go and visit if you're really sad or you're having a down day. And I always worried, because I watched a few videos before I went to uni about the fact that people made quite fickle friends, which really worried me because I get very attached to people very easily, and it's hard for me to let go of the friendship once I'm kind of friends with people, and it scared me that I might just be making friends to get through university, and then afterwards we wouldn't be friends anymore. And that really scared me, because I didn't want to like get close to a friend and then have that torn away from me. I mean, it depends who you make friends with really, and it depends if like you connect with them, but I've been really lucky in the fact that I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be friends with the people that I've met for a long time. I'm very confident that I'm going to be friends with them for at least the entirety of university, if not after, and that's something that's very special. And you know, I guess it's just a lot more meaningful because you've shared this experience together, you're all in the same boat and you've all kind of grown up together. I know that people say that about school and stuff, but you don't do the real growing up until you move away from home. And so like, it's so nice to have friends that you've grown up with properly. If you happen to be a northerner and you're gonna go to uni anywhere south, be prepared to have the northern jokes flown at you every single day. One of my flatmates was relentless with the northern jokes. I was making a cup of tea one time and he was like, oh, so bloody northern. And I was like, how is a cup of tea northern? A cup of tea is quintessentially British, not just confined to like north of the... It's not a northern thing, it's a British thing, like get over it. I'd make Yorkshire puddings and he'd be like, so bloody northern. I'd be like, yeah, but I'm not from Yorkshire, so joke's on you. It's ridiculous, so please prepare for that. Prepare for that. It's gonna wear you down. It's funny the first few times, it'll wear you down after the first few times. Don't give in to peer pressure, because something that you will find a lot in halls, especially from like what I've heard from friends and also from my own experience in halls, is that there is a huge presence of weed and other drugs. If you are like me and you just are not into that at all, then please don't give in to peer pressure. I was very lucky in that I made friends that didn't pressure me into doing anything. They would do the things in front of me. Maybe I'd be offered it, but none of them would ever push when I said no, which I'm really grateful for, because I can be quite a naive person, and I know that people can be quite naive in their first few weeks of uni and they want to impress. You know, I totally get it, but it's not worth damaging your morals for like 5 minutes of impressing somebody. Like they're gonna forget it the next day. Do you know what I mean? By all means, you have the freedom to try whatever you like at university. It's a time for experimenting, it's a time for being free. First time away from your parents, I can totally understand why some people would want to try that kind of thing. Personally, it's not for me, and I wouldn't ever condone the use of drugs. It's important to have a level head on you when you're making a decision whether or not to take drugs. I'm just gonna make a point about sex. So, some people might tell you that there's gonna be a lot of rough and tumble, surf and turf stuff at uni. I mean, for some people that might be correct. I don't know. But for the majority of people that I knew, and for myself personally, this is just simply not true. People say that people let themselves go at university and like it's a free-for-all, and like it's really not. It's really not. And I guess I was expecting it because people had like, it's like common culture, isn't it? Like TV shows and stuff drill that into you, that like this is what you can expect from uni. And it's just not. It's very normal and mundane and kind of boring sometimes as well. Like going and doing your food shop and coming in and making yourself a tea, and then oh look, it's 7 o'clock already and you've got to revise. Like it's a lot of that. Except like in Freshers Week and stuff. But yeah, I guess it's down to personal preference whether there's a lot of that going on. So I'm thinking of doing a few videos on university over the summer. I could tell you some stories, some funny anecdotes from nights out, some cool things that happened in my halls. I would love to do that for you, so please let me know in the comments if you would like to hear more about my first year experience. I will do a big university experience at the end of my university time. I think first year is such an important year for so many people, and it's something that people either look forward to immensely or they are scared to start. And I think it's really helpful when videos like this kind of give experiences from personal accounts. I think it's really important for people to give personal experiences because it gives you more of an idea of what you can expect from university. If you have any more questions on university, first year, getting into uni, living in halls, like if you need any help for applying for stuff like student finance or halls, please do let me know in the comments. If you want a video on that as well, or if you just want to ask me a question, just pop into my DMs, they're always free, it's fine. Also, a little idea that I want to run past you is I would really like to do veg. so a video every day in June. I'm gonna have a free month pretty much, and I would love to make more content. I'm really upset that my camera's broken, like devastated, and really upset that this is filmed on my phone. I'm so sorry. I wanted better from this channel. Oh yeah, I'm looking into like investing into a new camera or trying to fix my old one. So until then, I hope you can bear with me and possibly have a veg experience on my iPhone. If you're okay with that and you would like to see that, please do again leave a comment, because I'm really excited and I'm going to be bored. To be honest, I'll probably still end up doing it whether you want it or not, so like, sorry. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're all doing well in your exams. I wish you the best of luck for any that you have left. Fingers crossed you do your absolute best and you get yourselves into university. As always, if you would like to subscribe to me for some more content, please click here. I will put a bubble somewhere. My arm just went really weird. And if you would like to watch my last video, I will put it somewhere here. Somewhere. It'll be somewhere. I will catch you in my next video. Bye!